Hello everyone, Ian here, and I done goofed last week. I did record a new episode with a new coffee featured, a separate one from this one. Unfortunately, I had a mic issue, so the audio was not usable. So, obviously I'm going to be monitoring this audio a lot more closely, and today's coffee I have is Harry and David's Moose Munch Gourmet Coffee, the flavor or roast being Butterscotch Caramel. I've never heard of this brand. I admit I saw it in the store and I thought it was going to be from Montana because of the moose stuff. It is not. But the nice thing about this coffee is it's branded as Harry and David, but it says it's actually roasted by a separate company called White Coffee Corp, which means I get to do two histories. So, Harry and David, what is it? Harry and David was founded in 1910 by Samuel Rosenberg as Bear Creek Orchards in Medford, Oregon. And as you can tell, it initially started as a fruit company, thus the orchard name. 4 years later, Samuel's sons Harry and David took over operations, and in 1946, Bear Creek Orchards was rebranded to Harry and David. It gets a little confusing because then in 1972, they formed the Bear Creek Corporation, and that ended up being the parent company to Harry and David. So, changed away from Bear Creek name to Harry and David name, made Bear Creek name again. Harry and David is now part of Bear Creek. The next 40-ish years, they actually changed ownership quite a few times. A lot more. I usually like to kind of track ownership changes, but there was quite a few, so a bit out of my scope right now. And they even achieved bankruptcy in 2011. And Harry and David not only survived bankruptcy, but they were able to turn their business around enough to get purchased in 2014 by 1-800-Flowers.com Inc., who is the current owner as of recording. So that's Harry and David's story. The company that roasted this actually is called White Coffee Corp. So White Coffee Corp is not named after some mythical white coffee bean that maybe we haven't seen yet, unfortunately. White Coffee was established by David White in 1939 in New York. And as far as I can tell from their history, the White Coffee Corp is still owned by the descendants of David White. They specialize in providing food service products and white label coffees for other brands. And white labeling means basically that, for example, like this coffee is made by White Coffee, but it's branded under another company's name. And it's not just because this company is called White Coffee Corp. White labeling applies to any product. For example, like let's say I made mac and cheese packets, but then I sold it to Kraft. I'm not saying Kraft does that. I'm just using it as an example. But that would be like, example is, yeah, one corporation making a product, another corporation sells that product under their brand. Anyway, so that's Harry and David. That's White Coffee Corp. I'll admit I don't know if the prognosis looks good because usually when something is food service, it's not the highest quality. But let's take this Moose Munch Gourmet Coffee, put it with this non-moose based Dakota mug, see what we get. Alrighty, got my freshly brewed Harry and David Munch Butterscotch Caramel Coffee. Like I mentioned, with my primitive brain in the store, I assumed that this was like a small town, not small town. Well, I just assumed this is like a brand out of Montana, just because I don't know why, but I always associate moose with Montana, even though, I mean, I know moose have a larger range of variants for where they travel. I mean, they're even in North Dakota, so that tells you how far they go. But it does make sense that upon closer inspection, pretty sure this is a map of the Oregon area. So that would make sense since Harry and David is from Oregon. And now that you've got a tiny peek into the madness that is my mind, I'll kind of go into kind of that scent profile. I got super excited with this one. When I opened up the packaging, I thought this was gonna be like another air freshener coffee, but like that Madagascar vanilla that I reviewed from Panera Bread, where it just makes your house smell really good. Unfortunately, once I did brew it, a lot of that scent disappeared, which isn't the worst thing because I was hoping, well, maybe all that scent manifests itself into the flavor profile. And I hope that's true. But I don't know, I'm always a big scent guy. Like obviously if something tastes good but maybe doesn't smell the best, that's good too, but I mean you still get that butterscotch. It's mostly butterscotch. I don't really get any of that caramel scent anymore, but enough of sniffing coffee, let's give it a whirl. Maybe I should disguise my hmms better. Okay. Well, so full disclaimer, I'm not really crazy about butterscotch, but I do like butterscotch caramel. I know it's weird. So I have pretty high hopes for this one, which unfortunately means it is not an oh yeah. I wish it was an oh yeah, but this one is not an oh yeah coffee. Just doesn't have that strong profile that I would expect from like a good butterscotch caramel. I mean, if you like a very diluted butterscotch caramel flavor, maybe this is one for you. But for me, my taste, unfortunately, it doesn't even. Unfortunately, it's not even a meh. It's very close to being a meh, but actually, this one does fall into oof territory. I will give him credit. It's like upper end oof. It's not the worst oof I'm ever gonna have, that's for sure. It's just disappointing is the best way to put it. I wish it was middle of the road at least, but it's like has a potential to be a good coffee, but you just dilute it, which makes sense. I mean, and not this isn't to slam anyone, but it would make sense that a company that makes coffee like this, who makes coffee for food service, like I mentioned earlier, it does make sense that the priority is less on higher end quality and more on just maybe like consistent baseline. Whatever, that's the way they want to go. And feel free to disagree with me. If you've had this coffee and you like it, feel free to let me know in the comments. If you want to try it, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'll also include a link below. I think they do products on rotation. I dug through their website trying to find a direct link for you to buy this specific flavor, but they appear to do like some sort of like gift back variations, and I think they rotate flavors. So I'll have to use, unfortunately, a link to a third-party website, probably most likely Amazon in this case, so that way you can pick up your own coffee, give it a try for yourself. And as always, I'll always leave a link in the description as well, so if you want to pick up your own Dakota mugs, you can. And that's all I have for today, so until next time, see you next time.